Hello and welcome. Tonight is Tuesday, November 7th, and this is our recording of the weekly meeting of Rotary E-Club of District 7710. We're so glad you've joined us. You may find out more about our club at Lead With Us, that's leadwith.us. And you may also find out more by going to our Facebook page, Rotary E-Club District 7710. And we're also on Twitter and Instagram. We meet virtually via this platform, Zoom, most Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And tonight, we'll be hearing from two of our own club members about their Rotary service projects to Nicaragua. We'll first hear from Diana Phillips and then Sharon Mashoun. And I won't do a formal introduction this evening, so it's a little bit different. I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about themselves and as we go through the program. So Diana?
Okay. And the first slide, please. Yes. Last March, Barry and I went with the South Granville Rotary Club to a little village called Ilapo in the municipality of San Ramon, Nicaragua. We flew into Managua. You can see it at the bottom of a lake on the lower left side. And then we took a bus up to Matagalpa, where we stayed in a hotel. And then we drove every day over to this little village called Ilapo. San Ramon, those of you in Durham will know because it's a sister city of Durham. And there is a Peace Corps, a former Peace Corps person in Matagalpa, and she is an American, and she takes care of all of the tools and things that are left there when this group goes home. They have been going for 12 years. They go every other year, and the people who lead it are builders, and so they do building projects, of course. Next slide. This is Matagalpa. You can see it's hilly, and this is where we stayed in a hotel. In towns, the roads are paved for the most part, but in the countryside, they are gravel or dirt. And you have cars and trucks on the main roads, but in the countryside, it's mostly horseback. Okay, next. These are coffee plants. One of the nice things about going to foreign countries, you see different ways of living, and these are coffee plants, and Nicaragua grows a lot of coffee. Next. This is a man sorting through the beans. And these are coffee beans drying. And after they've dried, they get put in those sacks, the white sacks, and they get taken to places where they are roasted and made into coffee like we drink here. Next. You see pretty colorful street markets. This is on the way to Matagalpa from the airport. Beautiful colors. Next. And this is a weaving shop that's also on the way, and people like to get little souvenirs to take home. Next. And you can see the woman weaving. These are the mountains of Matagalpa. They're gentle mountains, and coffee grows very well in this area. And it's really quite lovely. This shows how people tap into the electricity, and they just run wires from the electricity to their homes. Why they don't get electrocuted, I don't know. But you see all these little wires going to all these different homes. And this just shows how they load up vehicles. There aren't many vehicles, so they really load them up. These are some of the people that were on the trip, including the baby. This little baby here went. She was a little girl. And her father, Eric, is the partner of Randy LaRue. Randy and Lori, his wife, are in the South Granville Club, and they lead this team, and Eric goes along too. He does the electricity, and they're just wonderful builders. They know a lot and get everything done. Another group. Here, the one in the middle on the left is Hannah Schubert, and I hope she will come talk to us. She is a Peace Fellow. Up in the top, second from the right, is Lori. She's a vet up in Creedmoor, and she's Randy's wife. And down on the bottom right, you see Randy with the blue cap on, and in the red shirt to his right is Eric, his partner. Okay, next. This is how we got out to the village. Lori is having a cup of coffee as she's sitting in the back on the way. And it's quite a bumpy ride, but everybody's in good spirits. And we leave the hotel at 6:30 in the morning. And we work until about 4 in the afternoon. Okay? And this is the truck going up the hill to Ilapo. And you see why, oops, you see why horses really can do a lot better here, especially when it's muddy, because the bus that they had thought they would use to take us couldn't make it up some of the hills. So they had to get 2 pickup trucks, and that got us there. There were about 14 people in the group. Okay, next. This is the latrine. And this group said, well, we have to have a soft toilet seat. So you can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's. And they took it home, take it back to the hotel every night, and it's packed up with the goods when they leave for the 2 years. And the person holding it is Carol, and she's in that South Granville Club. I didn't see this sloth, but isn't that extraordinary to see creatures like this and crawling along the barbed wire? Don Julio is the man, and that's his son. He's a big landowner in the area. The people helped us paint. The electricians, of course, did the electricity, because that's really something that has to be done right. And the roofers did the roofing, but people like the villagers and people like me did the painting, because we're basically unskilled. And you can see it was a group effort. Next. And here is Eric in the yellow shirt working on fastening the wiring to the beam up there. This is what it looked like when it was finished. And that really is a gorgeous sight. They had no electricity in there before, and now they do. These are the roofers putting on the roof. On the left of this building is the kitchen, and on the right of the building is a schoolroom. We did not do the building here. So, someone had already done that construction, but we just came in to do the roof, the painting, and the electricity. Here we are painting the outside. And this is the kitchen, and they said that the stove was designed so they wouldn't have to spend a lot of effort chopping up branches. They could put long branches in, and they have their burners one after the other, so it's efficient. You see the grid behind the rebars that are welded to a frame. That's to keep food in the storage room back of the kitchen so that people don't steal it. And under the roof, on top of the of the storage room, there's another grid like this, because the people are very poor and they would steal the food if they could. But this way they can feed the children every day when they come to school. When we left the last day, they gave a presentation of Fiesta for us, and we had wonderful food from the area, and the girls did the dancing, and they sang for us and recited poems. It was really a lovely thank you. And this is a schoolroom that was already built. We didn't build this room. And this is the school. You can see the new tin roof on the left. That is the building that we worked on for the painting and the roofing. And the building to the right is where we put in, not we, but our electricians put in electricity. And that's the Ilapo School, the South Granville Rotary Club project. Okay.
Thank you so much, Diana. We're going to hold on to questions until the end, and then now I'm going to share share a video that Sharon sent.
Okay.
So I'm going to switch computers here, and let me know if there are any audio issues, and I'll fix them as quickly as I can.
Our 2017 medical and dental mission was in Nicaragua. It was the most ambitious mission our club ever attempted and the most complex. But the story of the 2017 mission really begins in 1998.
At the end of October 1998, Hurricane Mitch hit Nicaragua. Hundreds of thousands of people were displaced. Many of those lived around the shores of Lake Managua. Many communities there were flooded out, entirely destroyed. Some of those people were picked up by municipal authorities and transported out to 125-acre cow pasture, given 35 yards of black plastic, 2 2x4s, and told, welcome to your new home. Don't go back where you came.
The Jubilee House community was our partner for the 2017 mission. The community is a group of North Carolinians who moved to Nicaragua in 1993 to give service to the poor, and they were there for the aftermath of Hurricane Mitch.
The streets, it was just a giant field of black lean-tos where people were surviving in the mud. We brought in emergency supplies, things like food, medical care. Gradually, streets got laid out, housing started going up. And initially, they would tell us things like, oh, I've got a sick child who needs to see the doctor, or oh, I don't have any food for the day. And we would take those conversations from that level to saying, okay, we're going to try to resolve those problems. But then moving on, 6 months from now, when the international community's focus has moved on to a newer disaster, how are you going to meet those needs? And they were like, well, we need healthcare here, and we need education, and we need housing, and we need jobs.
Jubilee House developed sustainable economic solutions. For example, we visited a factory where sesame seed and coffee were being prepared for export to the U.S. and around the world.
We work very hard to help people find simple, basic solutions to the problems that are confronting them. So we're not always looking for some new gadget or some new gizmo. We try to use all the resources that are available in a local community to help them develop creative ways to solve problems.
Jubilee House built the Nueva Vida Medical and Dental Clinic after Hurricane Mitch. It was our home for the mission.
When Hurricane Mitch happened and there was a resettlement camp, one of the things that Mike did, he was very insistent upon this, very wise, is that he said, before we do anything, we are going to organize the etapas or the stages as people got moved out into blocks. We're going to organize them and find out who are the leaders within these areas, because these were all strangers to each other. And then get them to talk to the people around and see what they need. And Mike came home and said, "You ready to run a clinic?" So that's how we got started. And then we built the first building and moved into it in 2001. In our dental care, we have a full-time dentist, hygienist, and dental assistant. We have a full-time radiologist. We have a part-time pediatrician. We have pharmacy, where people, after they've seen the doctor, get their medicines.
Know that if patients are prescribed medicine they can't afford to buy, then they don't buy it, they don't get better. So we make sure that they get the medicine that they need so they can get better.
This was the first time we held the mission at a permanent clinic. That's important for several reasons. It means that every child can receive continuing rather than one-time care. It also means that we were able to see a record number of children and adults, close to 1,200.
It hurts. Le voy a traer.
Posiblemente con frío, lo va a durar. Es fácil hoy, ¿ok? Eso, overuse es fácil. Bueno, respira lentamente, por favor.
Can I give her a toy?
Necesito que
Very good. Muy bueno, you did awesome.
Isn't she cute?
Two doctors accompanied us, a pediatrician
Any fever? Diarrhea? No.
and, for the first time, a plastic surgeon. And also, for the first time, we initiated educational outreach partnerships with Central Carolina Community College.
My name is Lisa Godfrey, and I'm a dental hygiene educator.
Entonces, buenas tardes, mi nombre es Lisa Godfrey y yo soy una educadora de higiene.
And today I just wanted to talk a little bit about dental decay.
I think that what the parents do here is that they don't really pay attention to some things that are happening in their teeth.
And with Teacher to Teacher International.
You know what I would encourage you to do also is think about ways you could use your resources to make the things that you have on around here. I mean, we could use stones for some of these things.
You will be always welcome to our school.
Thank you.
In the most humble way, come back.
The 2017 mission was a great success, and we will return in 2018 with an even more ambitious agenda. Expanding educational activities, installing computers in schools, and installing state-of-the-art dental equipment at the clinic, all part of our Teeth and Tech grant from Rotary International. We feel good about returning because we have great partners, a great team, and in Nicaragua, our work is needed and appreciated.
¿Cómo está, doctor? ¿Cómo le va? Buenos días. It's an appropriate response. Say, thank God, I don't have to live like this. But if it stops there, then that's extremely self-centered and insufficient. Because these people do have to live like that. And if we are truly interconnected as human beings, then if I see this, it's not just my response to be thankful that I don't have to live like this, but to do something about people who do have to live like this.
Most people here work hard for their money. Surviving is hard work. They make hard choices like, do I have to feed my children with the money that I've worked, or do I have to buy medicine for my child? Or now my child's going to school, do I have to figure out how to get a pair of shoes so that my kid can go to school, you know, and not be barefooted or walking in chinelas, which are like flip-flops here. I think the two things that always stand out for me is how strong people are, not physically, although they are physically very strong, but the fact that day after day they get up and they keep at it. That takes the strength. I don't know that I would have, but there is a hope here that there wasn't before, and life is getting better for people. It's still the second poorest country for GDP or PDP, but it is still, things are getting better here, which is good for children and it's hopeful, and that helps parents feel hope as well.
Thanks, Sharon, for sharing that video with us. I didn't really transition between Diana's talk and your talk very well, but I'm going to pull up some slides that you shared with me to share to the group. And I hope everybody saw Sharon in the
it was jumping a little bit. I apologize.
Yeah, hang on just one second. I'll get this up. You know, we tested it out and it seemed to be okay. So I think it was reaching the limits of all of the buffering that we were doing. But so hang on, just sorry, I started at the wrong slide. But Sharon, if you want to take over from here, you're welcome to jump in.
Sure. So basically, I've been going, this mission trip started by East Chapel Hill Rotary Club, and they've been doing it for maybe 11 or 12 years. They started in, I believe, Haiti, and then they were going to Haiti for a few years. Then they started going to Honduras, but the security in Honduras was not really good, so they started going to Costa Rica. In Costa Rica, they have national health, so we didn't feel that they really needed us as much as some other countries. That's why we basically switched to Nicaragua. And Nicaragua is a great country. Actually, I think East Chapel Hill Club probably finally found their home. It's in the video it said the second poorest country, but I really think it's actually the third poorest country in Central America. It's after Honduras and El Salvador, and it is I just heard on NPR today that it is growing more than any other country in Central America, even more than Costa Rica. What I really like about Nicaragua is that you see that people are really poor, but you feel safe. I mean, you need to be street smart anywhere we go, but in Honduras, you see people are poor and you don't feel safe. So somehow people in Nicaragua have figured out how to still hold on to their humanity, or still, despite all the poverty, keep like being very nice. I traveled by myself. I usually go with a group, so we work, and this year the date is February 5th to February 9th. So we all go together because we have plenty of instruments and equipment to take with us. And then we work for a week. Usually it's Monday through Friday. Friday they usually have a party for us. And I usually stay back a couple of days or 3 days. In Honduras, I stayed back, but I couldn't go anywhere by myself. I had to go with locals. But in Nicaragua, I traveled by myself, and I absolutely felt safe. Now, this year, what is interesting after Diana's talk is that they are trying to build another clinic in that same location. So this year, not only they need dentists and auxiliaries, dental assistants, dental hygienists, we always need people to do sterilization, help move kids around. But also this year, we need people to be able to build. And you don't need to have any basically training or anything. It's just helping to build another clinic in that area. So if anybody is interested, it's a great group. I've been going with them for 6 years, actually 6 or 7 years. And it's a great group. I've learned a lot from them. You enjoy, it's hard work, but at the end, it's extremely rewarding. Does anybody have any questions?
This is Rich. Sharon, I'm
Yes.
just curious, when you're there, do you have any local medical professionals monitoring or sponsoring you or anything? Yeah.
Yes, and that was extremely important. When we were in Honduras, and well, maybe I should not exactly say that, but in some countries, we always want to work with locals, so it's always with a local Rotary Club. Even the Jubilee House members, they are a member of a Rotary Club. So although they are not exactly local, we always work with a local Rotary Club, and we have dentists from that community come to the clinic. But some experiences that we had is that in some countries, they just come to the clinic, but they don't work as hard as you do. Or there was times that I felt the people in this country don't care as much as we do. In Nicaragua, not only the dentist that you saw in the video, Anya, I think, I already forgot her name, Inya, and the hygienist who was not in the pictures actually, and one more person, they worked so hard. I mean, they were always helping us. I was actually surprised. And then the doctors, the local doctors that were working in that clinic, they worked alongside with us. And the members of the Jubilee House actually were working at every step with us. So we had plenty of help. And I felt like people in Nicaragua are very proud of who they are, and they really try hard to make their country better, which is really rewarding, because I felt that when we come back home, that dentist, the hygienist, they are going to pick up, and everything that we left behind, they are going to use it, and they're not going to waste, they are going to care. And that is extremely important, to feel that somebody is continuing what you did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could I ask one more?
Yes, absolutely.
This is actually, this is for Diana.
Yes.
In light of what, Diana, in light of what Sharon said about the reason they were in Nicaragua, the thought that went into being in Nicaragua, did your group go through the same sort of thought process about Nicaragua? Did you choose it for a specific reason, or do you know if that particular group chose it for a specific reason similar to the group that Sharon was with, and what actually went into Nicaragua as opposed to some other Central American country?
I have to say, I don't know. They started going 12 years ago, and they go every other year, and I think they've always gone to Nicaragua, although different parts of the country. And I just don't know. I have to find out.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any other questions? Diana, I had a question about the weaving shops.
Yeah.
So I've never been to Nicaragua, but I felt like the style, the weaving style was really interesting and unique for that area. Do they sell a lot of woven goods in that area? Is it something that's like part of the I guess social fabric and infrastructure?
They certainly sell a lot, yes, but I don't know much more about it than that.
Well,
I'm sorry, I'm very unprepared for these.
No, you're not. You're fine. It's beautiful. My mom is a weaver, and I just love seeing like the loom set up, and it's just really interesting to see the colors and the fabric, and I really enjoy seeing it. So kind of piqued my.
Another question. I'll report back next week.
Okay.
I just have a favor to ask. Next time you're down in Nicaragua, you guys make sure you make sure that they're washing the coffee beans really well for us. I drink a lot of coffee, and I hate to think that there's crud on it. That's all.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
The coffee is pretty great from San Ramon.
Yes, it is. I bet.
I have a question. Thank you both, Diana and Sharon, for sharing. It's nice to see work being done in Nicaragua. I actually, my daughter was part of a mission trip in Honduras, so I'm familiar with the safety you speak of. I remember her showing me pictures after the fact of the military escorting them on the bus to the different sites they were going to, aka 47. So I agree that seeing you walking around freely without military escort was actually refreshing. But for Diana, about the electricity, why did they choose electricity over solar? And is there a cost to the schools to now have to pay for that electricity?
Yeah, that's an important question. I think it's just that the technology has not made its way there into their consciousness. I mean, you know, we have known about solar for decades, and we still aren't using it a lot. So I think that it will come, but at the moment, what they have now are the electrical wires, and they just tap into them.
Is there a local expense for them, or is that covered by the Rotary, or how does that work?
You mean for the trip?
For the actual electricity. I know solar's not free, but it's a little bit cheaper to some extent to maintain. So I was wondering, is there a cost to them now that they have the electricity?
You're talking about the school?
Yeah, the electricity going to the school.
Yeah, the Rotary Club of San Ramon just identified the project, and they really don't have much to do with that school, but they just let us know that there was a school that needed work done. So I don't think they have anything to do with paying for electricity.
Okay, thank you.
And in fact, we were going to show it off on the last day there when they had the fiesta, and we were going to put the electricians on a pedestal so they could all clap for them, but the electricity wouldn't come on. This is one of the things, you know, in developing countries, you can't always rely on utilities. So the electricity didn't come through.
I had a few extra pictures to share from Sharin's trip. I kind of cut those off. So, and this is, do you want to tell you what you're doing here, Sharin? Or?
Let me, I'm just trying to get rid of something. Okay, all right. Oh yes, so this time in Nicaragua, I stayed behind and I went to this island. It's called Ometepe Island. It's basically made from all the volcano eruptions of two different volcanoes. One is called Concepcion and one is, I believe, Maduras or something like this. But these two volcanoes erupted in time and basically they created the island. Concepcion is still active, and this is actually the volcano that I'm hiking. It has been the most challenging hike that I've ever done in my life. But it was very nice, and I couldn't walk probably 2-3 days after. I could definitely not go up and down the stairs, but the view from the top was very nice. And unfortunately, in any Central American countries, you don't know where there is fog, and you don't know if you can really see inside the crater. When we got up there after 8-9 hours of hiking, we couldn't see inside the crater because there was fog. So I had some pictures, but you really couldn't see anything. But this is on the way back. And going down that hike was even more difficult than going up because these are all loose gravels. So it was just, we were sliding a lot and there were rocks going down and there were people underneath us. So it was a very difficult hike. But this year I'm hiking the other one, the other volcano, and that is not active. It's muddy, but at least it's not volcanic rocks.
Wow, Sharin, the depth on this is fascinating because I thought we were looking into like a pond, and then I realized, oh no, that's like that's way up.
And this is not even the top. This is probably 1/3 down from the summit.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, I just want to say thank you to both of you for sharing your Nicaragua stories. It's really fascinating, and I hope some of our club members can take the opportunity to join these trips, because I know it's the experience of a lifetime. And I know, Sharin, you have lots of experience, and Diana, you have lots of experience too with service trips, and I feel like you always get more than you give. So it's probably, I don't know, a Rotary cliche in a way, but I think it's really true. So thank you very much for sharing with us, and
you're welcome.
You get to have the joint certificate of appreciation this evening. I didn't change the date, so but you're in it together. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess we're going to just close out tonight with our 4-way test. And Kevin, would you like to lead us?
I can do that. Thanks for the honor, and thank you for presenting, both of you. That was great. The 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. And so everyone, that is Rotary for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.